I'm Joel Rosenthal, president of the Carnegie Council. For almost 100 years, the Council has been the voice for ethics in international affairs. This month, please give to our annual fund drive. Thanks for your support.
The media that we have around it does rewire our brains. We know this by studies of people who were literate. So they took scans in Peru, scans of people who were illiterate and those who could read and write. And they found that, in fact, their brains work differently, not just when they're reading, but just in general. After having, 5 or 10 years or 20 years of education and learning to read and write, it actually changes how your brain works. So we are not the same people that came out of Africa. We're different, and it takes us 10 or 15 years to train our minds that way. Now, it's also very clear that if you're spending 5 or 10 hours a day in front of a computer, that is going to change how your brain works. It's going to rewire how we're doing things, and we're just learning now about that and what that means. And so we don't know how it changes our brain, but it will, in fact, change what we're thinking. And I think that it's going to continue doing that. Now, we have a dependency on the alphabet. We depend on the alphabet. That's how we think about things. We need reading and writing. We think in terms of words. We imagine it. We see it around us. It's ubiquitous. We are dependent on the alphabet. It doesn't seem to bother us very much. We're not freaked out by that. Okay? And I think as these technologies become more ubiquitous and as we become dependent upon it, that's what it is. We'll be dependent upon it. It will be our exo-brain. We'll use it to remember. It'll always be around. And as long as it's around, we'll be good. And so we are already dependent on technology. If you removed every single bit of technology in the entire world, including our knife blades and scrapers, humans would die within 6 weeks. We're incapable of surviving without our technology. We invented something called the external stomach. It's called cooking. It allows us to digest stuff that we could not otherwise. It increased the nutrition. It changed our jaw and our teeth. So we are physically different people because of our invention. And so while we can live on a raw diet, it's actually very hard to breed on a raw diet. And so what we have done is we are now dependent on our technology, and we will become ever more so. And that's just the definition of who we are. We're the first domesticated animals. Okay? We are a technology ourselves. And that's why this tension between the selfish technology, which has its own agenda, and us being masters and creators of that, it's a self-creation. And when you're self-created, that means that you're both the created and the creator. So that tension will always remain as long as there's technology, which will always be. We're always going to have the tension between the fact that we are the created and the creator.